Hello everybody, it is Go Live Granny here, Lynn the Go Live Granny, and I'm live streaming not from my usual place, but I'm live streaming from here, this venue. And let's put the comments on. And it is Monday, and it is the 30th of September 2024. So if you're coming in on the live, welcome, and do please say hello. Hi Richard, hi Tom, nice to see you. And if you're coming in the future, put replay, so if you're watching this on the replay, put replay in the comments and it will send me a message after the broadcast, and then I can chat with you separately. So how is everybody? I'm really pleased that I've gone live, because I've got some shenanigans going on with my StreamYard, and so I'm actually going to have to source something new, because I had an issue with StreamYard. Well, I had an issue with the payment thing. I've sorted out why the payment didn't go through, but actually I was really pleased. Hello, Shane. You're back home from the USA. Excellent. Well, I'm not back home, as you can see. This is not my home. This is my daughter's home. And so we have Tom coming in from Suffolk. We have Richard coming in, I presume, from Birmingham. We have Shane coming in from wherever, but not back from the USA. I don't know if we're live on Facebook. I hope, can anybody see if I've gone live on Facebook? Because I was, as I say, I was having some issues. I'm going to have to source something new, and not StreamYard. Well, I've got a problem. You're really good. 95% in today's assessment at work in conflict resolution. Excellent, Richard. That's brilliant. So I am gonna do something. Yeah, I'm live on Facebook as well. Excellent, thank you. That's brilliant. Because I've been busy today. I'm on granny duty, and I've been busy doing some granny things. I was a couple of minutes late there because I was just doing some granny stuff with my grandson, and I was very conscious of what the time was and hoping that I would be able to get live on this broadcast. But as I say, I had a bit of an issue with the payment. It wasn't it was a silly thing. I won't go into all the details of it, but I'm actually glad I had issue with the payment, because StreamYard have shot their prices up a lot, and they've been taken over by some other people, and I don't feel I'm getting value for money with that. However, Tristan and I have got a solution going forward. But I will be looking for people to sponsor some of the broadcasts going forward, so that we can still keep it going. But it used to be just under £20 a month, and suddenly it's over 30, but like £33 it's gone up to, and I don't think that I'm getting enough out of StreamYard to pay that. So the fact that the hiccup with the payment was brilliant, so that the payment didn't go through today. That's why. Hello, Steve. Nice to see you. So that's why. That's why I wasn't sure if the broadcast would go live tonight, because the payment was due today. And oh, thank you, Richard. You're happy to contribute. Yes, if I can get little. You nearly forgot, Steve. You nearly forgot, because I'm supposed to do this on Saturday, on Sunday night, and it's Monday now. I do know it's Monday. Anyway, what was I going to say? I lose my thread so easily when I get distracted here. So let's just go back. Granny and mummy duty. Hope Tasha's feeling better. Yes. Yes, Richard, it is 33%. Yeah, it's a huge increase in the cost of delivering. And if I'm only going to be delivering less live streams than I used to, I want better value than that. But as I say, we've got a solution to it, which I will explain. Unelected tax. Oh, excellent. Right. So anyway, Steve Padge has come into the broadcast a couple of times. I have met another two Steves recently on my journeys and my Go Live Granny shenanigans, and then I met another guy on the train. I had some travel buddies I've met this week. So I'll try and I'm not going to do a 2-hour broadcast tonight. I haven't had my meal. 12 hours on the plane coming back. My goodness. I haven't had my meal. My daughter's cooking my meal and it's going to be ready in about an hour. An unexpected tax-free bed. Excellent. And so I didn't broadcast yesterday because I was coming to my daughter's yesterday, and I knew that at 8:15 I wouldn't be able to broadcast, because I knew I would be only just arriving at my travel destination, or just where my daughter was going to pick me up. So I made the broadcast 9:15 last night. That would have given me time to get to my daughter's, have a cup of tea and a couple of minutes chat with her, and then I could have come on live. Except, of course, those of you who watched any of my progress yesterday will know that I was on the fast cat, bobbing along on the crest of a wave, when I should have actually been on a train leaving Portsmouth Harbour. Very difficult to get on a train when you're in the middle of the Solent. So I missed my train. And when I got so I tried to ring passenger assist from the fast catamaran, and I got through to passenger assist, and the chat wasn't that helpful. This is the accessible travel people, accessible and all that. The people who book for me to have people helping me on and off the train with ramps. And it's a brilliant service when it works. But I rang and said, look, I'm not on the train I'm going to be. So obviously all the people who were alerted to help me on and off the train on my journey, I'm not going to be on the train, so they can't help me. Always travel shenanigans. That's right. Anybody new coming into the broadcast will not know about all the shenanigans that have gone on with my travel in the past. Before COVID, I was always having shenanigans. Shenanigans is my middle name. But my audience seemed to like, well, I treat it with humour, because there's no other way to treat it, really, is there? And as long as I know that eventually I will get to where I want to go, it's okay. But since I've been having the travel assist, it's been really good. Most of the time. But of course, I got off the white link. So normally I go on the hover. From Ryde Seafront across to Portsmouth and Southsea, and then I board the train at Portsmouth and Southsea, the train that has come from Portsmouth Harbour. But when I tried to book that for yesterday's travel, it wasn't letting me. It wasn't letting me do hover travel. Certainly not on the cheap tickets like I like to get. It works in the week, but obviously I don't usually travel on a Sunday, so I gave up the struggle of trying to go on the hover and decided I'll go on the fast cat, which goes from the end of Ryde Pier. So they're both from Ryde Seafront, but I'll go from Ryde Pier. So I booked that, and what a good job I did, because the weather was bad, and the first thing that goes out is the hover, and so the hover was cancelled anyway, so I wouldn't have been able to do that journey. I was just hoping that the fast cat wouldn't be knocked out, because then that causes me major problems. I then have to get myself to the car ferry, which is not near the passenger ferries, and I'd have to get there and then try and get to the Portsmouth Harbour station, and all the shenanigans that go with that. Anyway, I got a taxi to the end of the pier. My ticket actually started from Ryde Esplanade, and normally the train goes up the pier, and that bit of my journey is covered by my ticket, except that at the moment the trains aren't going up the pier. So there's a minibus that goes up the pier, but I decided not to get the minibus because I was already in a taxi, and I decided that good evening, Mandy, nice to see you. Yes, Richard's saying the only disadvantage is the hover, the weather affects it more than the others, but it didn't matter because I was booked, as I say, on the fast cat. So I decided not to get out of the taxi and get on the hover bus to take me up the pier, because it was not worth getting out of one cab and into another cab to go up the pier. So because because the train isn't running, they've put on a minibus to go up the pier. It's a very long pier, but I just thought it was much more sensible to stay in the taxi I'd already booked and just let the taxi take me to the end of the pier. It probably cost me £1 more or something like that. It really didn't matter. Then I get there to find out that there is a delay on the Fast Cat, because apparently the weather had been bad. It had affected earlier sailings, and so the Fast Cat that should have been at Ryde Pier, ready to take off at 7:15. Was it 7:15? No, no, it was earlier than that, wasn't it? What time? 4:45. Hi, eight tricks. It was delayed. It was still at the other side of the water, so we had to wait for it to come back. So we were on a delay of about 15 minutes. And so 15 minutes, I had 10 minutes between getting off the Fast Cat and getting on the train. On the Portsmouth side, you just come straight out of the White Link terminal and you're straight into the station, up a ramp there. So it doesn't take long, but if you're not there, the train doesn't wait for you. And that's what happened, of course. So we were up to 15 minutes late. Now, don't forget, I said that the hover wasn't running, which meant that all the people who might have gone on the hover were now going on the Fast Cat. So there were all these people at the terminal, but I managed to get near to the front, so that I wasn't behind all this queue of people. And I saw Councillor Lucioni at the terminal, and she was on a seat, and there was no seat just there near the front. Hello, Kath. And so Councillor Lucioni stood up and let me sit down, because she knows I have an issue of standing. So that was really kind, and I was very grateful to her for doing that. So then, as I say, we were 15 minutes late leaving, which meant I missed the train. When I got to, so I got on the Fast Cat fine, and there was a seat there that's, designated for disabled people, and I was able to put my Navy Nora, which is my trolley, next to me, and so everything was fine there. So while I was on the Fast Cat, I rang the passenger assist people to say, look, I'm not going to be on the train because I'm going to miss the train. What do I do about being assisted on another train? But he said, I can't do anything about that. So he wasn't as helpful as most of them usually are. He said, just talk in the station, ask them in the station. So anyway, when I got to the other side, when I got to Portsmouth Harbour, I actually wanted to use the loo. I knew I'd missed the train, and if you know anything about me, I'd rather use a loo that's not moving about on a train than use it. Sorry, we're going into the toilet talk now, but it's a bit, I'm unsteady on my pins, and on a train that's throwing me about like that, trying to go to the loo is not the best solution. So if I can go to the toilet at a platform, that's much better. So I wanted to go to the loo. Knew I'd missed the train, so I thought, well, there's no point in rushing to get the train, which I would have had to do if the train had been on time. So I thought, right, well, I'll go back into the White Link terminal, because I know where the toilet is there, the disabled toilet. But of course, what had happened? All the passengers who were going on the Fast Cat back to the Isle of Wight were all in the way, so I couldn't get past them to get to the loo. So I thought, all right, okay, I'll go up into the station. I'll find somebody who can tell me when my next train is coming, and then I will go to the toilet. So I found Steve, and this is another Steve. So Steve that's in the chat here was Steve, who's found me randomly on YouTube recently and has been joining our broadcast. So lovely to have you there, Steve. And then this was another Steve who worked for South Western Railway. And I said, look, I've missed the train. What do I do now? And he said, the next one will be an hour later. At which I was grinning. Now, most people who are told they've got to wait nearly an hour round for the next train would be a bit annoyed. But I know, that's all right, Steve, you're very welcome here. I know that when when you get more than an hour delay, you get a full refund, because I've had it. And it was my audience that told me about the refunds when you get delayed on your travel. So if you get delayed more than 15 minutes, the replay starts kicking, the repay starts kicking in. If you go over an hour, you get a full repay. So, but yesterday's journey didn't cost me anything. The taxi did, but the others didn't. So yes, and Richard's saying Steve X Hover, not Steve Padge, but Steve that I met on the platform yesterday. I took a selfie with him because I like to take the selfies and put them up so that I can say what great service I've had. And several of you recognised him as being an ex-Hover team member. So yes, so that was good. So what he said to me was, he said, oh, well, you've got an hour's delay. I said, well, oh, that's okay then. I need the loo. And of course, at Portsmouth Harbour Station, where is the loo? It's right up the other end of the platform. You have to go out of the state, through the barrier, and all the way up the other length of the platform. And it was windy. That platform was very wet and windy. I wasn't actually getting wet, but the wind was blowing in from the side, you know, and it was a bit chilly, but it didn't matter. So I went and did what I needed to do. And then I came back, and then I announced myself to Steve. I said, oh, I'm back now. And I was just going to go and sit down. It was now 6:45, and I was on a 7:15. It must have been 6:45. Should have been on a 17:17 ferry. Train, and then I was on the 18:17, 6:15. So it's now 6:45, and I was just going to sit down, and he said, no, don't stay there, come and get on the train. Well, I didn't know that the train was already at the station sitting there waiting before it would take off. So he was very kind and put me on the train early, because then I could be warm and dry. But to get to where they put the ramp down, so there are certain places along the platform where they put the ramps. You know, they don't have ramps all the way along, but certain places on the train where they put the ramps. And I didn't know there were different ramps for different trains. I found that out yesterday, because one of the ladies had a ramp at one of the stations, and then she put that. So I got off a train. She had that ramp and she put it back, and then but I thought, well, I'm getting on another train, why is she putting the ramp back? But she had to get a different ramp because it was a different sort of train, and it obviously didn't fit the first ramp. Oh, I've had an education. Yes, Richard's saying about Jobsworth. Some of the people are Jobsworth, but actually what Steve at Portsmouth did, and I don't know what his surname is, 18:17 train, not to be confused with 18:12 overture. Absolutely not, Richard. You're quite right. Now, I've got nobody coming in from Facebook, so I don't know if anybody's watching in from Facebook. You said I'd gone live there, didn't you, Richard? But maybe nobody knows I'm there. Oh, anyway, whatever. Yes, Richard's saying they're different heights, the ramps. So anyway, so what was I saying? Yes, so Steve got the ramp, and so we walked up, and we had to walk quite a long way up the platform to find the bit where he put the ramp down. And while we were walking up there, it was really blowy, and although it was undercover, the rain was blowing in from the side, but we weren't very long, so I didn't really get wet. And then I was on the train, and that was fine. And so he put me on the train, and then he said, now, because I still had half an hour before the train left, he said, oh, I'm going to go to the computer, and I'm going to go and book your passenger assist, because of course all my passenger assist stops were all booked for the train that was an hour earlier, so there wouldn't be anybody to meet me on a train later unless anybody told them. So Steve said it was easier to do it. He's trained, Steve, and you're window cleaner, Steve. Oh, right, okay. And then I have travel buddy Steve that I met on one of the trains yesterday. So this is getting very confusing, but I think we'll be okay. I don't know if travel buddy Steve has picked up on my broadcast tonight. He's connected with me on social media, but maybe not yet seen that that I'm on live stream. So anyway, so where was I? Yes, so Steve went off, and he got half an hour, obviously, to go and do my passenger assist. So they have to check in at all the stations. So I booked to go Reading and Basingstoke before I get to my final destination in Wiltshire. But for some reason, when I booked my passenger assist on Sunday, yes, because I tried to ring passenger assist on Saturday and they said the office was closed. Oh, right. Kath says I'm live on my page, but not the Go Live Granny page. Kath, can you share the broadcast on the ordinary page with the Go Live Granny page? Is there a way of doing that, folks? Because I had a feeling I'd logged into the wrong one when I was having the shenanigans of setting up the broadcast earlier and not sure whether I'd be able to go live because my payment on StreamYard hadn't gone through. Wasn't sure. That's what all that shenanigans was about. It's been a shenanigan day, or shenanigan couple of days. But so what was I going to say? Yeah, so Steve went off. Thank you, Kath. Steve went off to use the computer so that he could book me onto the next, the next trains. And so I knew he'd got plenty of time to do it because I had half an hour sitting before the train was going. But I was in the warm and it didn't matter. And I was eating my tea. I'd got my little sandwich bag. Not my sandwich. I don't eat sandwiches because I don't eat bread because I'm, of my diet, my dietary requirements. But I had a picnic with me. So I had my picnic. And then, sorry, I do forget what I'm saying sometimes. So I had my picnic. And then eventually I looked at my phone and the emails came through. I could see that Train Steve had actually booked the next. Hello, Heather, coming in from the USA. Nice to see you. So so Train Steve had done the passenger assist. So the emails came through to tell me that those were all booked for the other stations. So I had 1, 2. So I get on at Portsmouth. They're trained at Reading and Basingstoke, whichever way round. I think it's Basingstoke and then Reading, isn't it? I get a bit confused. And then my last station in Wiltshire. So so that was good. Oh, I need to approve it, do I? I don't think I can because I'm on this gadget. I'm on this gadget. Oh, I don't know how to do that. Oh, I don't know if anybody can share it, but if they can't, oh well. What a shame. See, I don't know if I can. I wonder if I can just change screens. Will I lose you if I just go into my Facebook page? Hang on a minute, folks. Don't disappear. Stay there. Stay there. Don't go away. Don't go away. I think I can do this without going away. Wait a minute. Hang on. Let's have a look. Oh, sorry, folks. I don't know. Let's see if that. Wait a minute. Let's see. I need to. Sorry, folks. I'm still. Whoops. Hang on. So let's see. I don't know. Let's see. I've got to. Oh, folks. Hang on. Hang on. Oh, this is a chore. Wait a minute. Let's have a look and see what I'm doing. Let's see if I can share this. Yes, I can. I've got the link, folks. I think I can do this. I can do it. Wait a minute. Let's put it over there. Let's put the link in. There we go. Let's see if it takes me live. Oh, I'm not sure if it will. Hang on. Come back, folks. Where are you? Let's see. Oh, I don't know where you all are. Wait a minute. Where have I gone? Oh, I don't know. I've lost you. I need StreamYard, don't I? I've lost you, folks. Where have you gone? It lost connection with my mic, but it told me that it lost connection. So now I've just come back. There we are. Sound has gone. Mandy, the sound should be back, because when I did all that, for some reason it knocked the microphone out, but I've put the microphone back on. Is that all right? Okay. There we go. So let's hope that we get some people in from, right, Mandy. Mandy's coming in from, oh, she must be coming in from my Lynn page. Okay, thank you. Shenanigans. Dear, oh dear. So I don't know if I am live now on the Go Live Granny page. Maybe, I don't know. All good again now. We're back. So anyway, as I say, Train Steve booked all the passenger assists for me, so that was brilliant. And then we actually left at 7:15, and I sat and I had my picnic before I had to do my first change, and then the change at that station was okay. That worked all right, but it was the it was the Reading train, and I got on the Reading train. No, so I didn't go. Sorry, I started telling you. I was trying to book Basingstoke and then Reading, and that's what I was booked on. But the passenger assist, so I tried to ring them on Saturday to book passenger assist, and it told me that the office was closed. But apparently the office never closes, because they have to do accessible travel. I did think it was odd that it was closed. Anyway, apparently it shouldn't have said it was closed, because it never is. And so I couldn't book on Saturday, and I thought, well, I'll just book when I get there. But I tried again on Sunday, and this time they answered, and I got the team leader. He wasn't a Steve, he was a Matt, I think. And I got the team leader, and he said, oh, it's not letting me book passenger assistance from Basingstoke. He said, but I can book it from Winchester. So he said, go from Portsmouth to Winchester to Reading, and then on to my final station. And he said, if you get off at Winchester, you've only got to get off and stay on the same platform and get back on again, which is good, because sometimes at that Basingstoke one, I've got a very short space of time and I actually have to change platforms. And so, if one train's a little bit late, that's another misconnection. But, good evening, Jill. Nice to see you. So which page are you coming in from, Jill? You're coming in on Facebook, but are you on my Go Live Granny page, or are you on my Lynn Blackledge page? Because we've had an issue. I didn't manage to set up the Go Live Granny page. I got it all wrong today. But we've been trying to share it. People have been trying to share it to the Go Live Granny page. So maybe we will get some people coming in if we can get it on the Go Live Granny page. Oh, there's Richard. Richard, which page are you coming in from? Are you coming in from the Go Live Granny page, Richard? So Richard's now hopped from YouTube across to Facebook to help me out. Oh, right. Okay. Mandy's on the Go Live Granny page. So that's okay. Excellent. So because there's one that's Lynn Blackledge and there's one that's Go Live Granny, and I confused myself. So Lynn Blackledge is a personal page, and the Go Live Granny is my like my profile. What do they call it? More like a business page. Oh, there Richard's hopped back again to YouTube. He's hopping from one to the other. I can see the comments coming in at the side. Thank you, folks, for being, here with me. I know I'm mad and scatty, and that's how it is. But, if you like that, then you keep coming in. And if you don't like it, that's what your thumb's for. Scroll on by. So I, that's right. So I changed at Winchester. That's what they told me to do. And when I got to Winchester, now one of the changes, no, it was the Swindon one, the passenger, no, sorry, let's go back to Winchester. I got off at Winchester, and then I got on at the next train at Winchester, and then one of the stations, Reading. Mad and Scatty is good. It's entertaining. So Winchester, no, one of the stations, I think it was Reading. That's a bit of a nightmare. I needed the loo again. I like to make sure that I've been to the loo and I don't have to use the loos on the train, because the trains rattle about. I forgot to say that when I was on the Fast Cat, that was very bumpy. It was certainly bobbing around on the crest of a wave yesterday, bearing in mind the weather was bad. It was very, very bumpy. But I sort of held the side of the seat, but none of us, we didn't really get too jostled about, so that was good. So anyway, let's see if I can finish any of this story. Oh dear, I'm quite tired. I'm not really, surprised after all the shenanigans that have gone on in my life. And I was really tired last night. And when I got to my daughter's, I had a nice hot drink, and I don't think it was very long before I actually went to bed and had a very, very good sleep. Surprise, surprise. Anyway, I haven't finished the journey as to how I finished this and how I met Train Steve. No, not Train Steve, Travel Buddy Steve. So so let me tell you, one of the stations, so there, a lot of toilets get mentioned in my travels, and I apologize. No, I don't apologize for it. It's just how my life is. And so when I was at the Reading stop, I thought I'd better go to the toilet, and I'd got half an hour change at the Reading terminal. And so but at the Reading, you have to get a lift up, then you go up to the bridge level, and then you change there, and you go down to a different one to another platform, and you have to sort of really know where you're going. And I got in and went, I was told which platform I needed. No, I wasn't sure. So somebody said, "Oh, you need to go up there for the toilet." So I went up in the lift, and then I was not in the right place for the platform I wanted, and I got a bit confused. So I then had to ask somebody else and say, "Well, I don't know where I'm going." So I had to go back and in the lift and down and along the platform and in another lift. It was just up and down, up and down. But I had half an hour, so it killed half an hour while I was going up and down in the lift. It was okay, and then. I'm going to tell you another toilet story. Sorry. When I got to, now wait a minute. That must have been. I don't know where I was going up and down. That was Reading. I think maybe it was the Winchester one. No, it was at Reading. It was at Reading where I finally found. That's right. I found. Steve had to rush like mad into Aldi Loos tonight. The other customers looked at me peculiarly. It's difficult to run with your legs crossed. Yes, it is. Absolutely. So anyway, no, it was. So when I actually, so now what happened? That's right. What happened? I got to at Reading. This was at Reading. I'm very confused. I found that when I got off the train at Reading, the chap who helped me off the train, I said, "Where do I need to go now?" And he said, "You need to go to platform 8 and 9. So that's where I went. And then that's right. And then I was looking for a toilet, and there was no station staff to ask, but there was a passenger. I said, "Do you know if there's a toilet on this platform?" He said, "Oh no, I don't think there is. I think you need to go upstairs." So that's why I went upstairs. So I went upstairs and I ended up, 12 and 13, and there was no toilet up there. And then I went back down and then, oh, that's right. No, but there was a Smith's. I found a Smith's. And there was a member of staff at Smith's. I said, "Do you know where the toilet is?" He said, "You need to go down to the platform. The platforms are on the station. The toilets are on the station platform." So I said, "Oh, right, okay. Well," so the passenger obviously didn't know. Ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. So what? So I did get down, and then I could eventually see a sign. I wasn't in the right place to see the sign, so I then saw a sign, and I went up to where the waiting room was, where it said on the outside it got disabled sign for the toilets. But when you get into the waiting room, there was a gents' toilet door and a ladies' toilet door, but nothing that said accessible toilets, because usually that's a separate toilet. And I've got my trolley, and that's how I need to look for toilets. I have a radar key, so if there's one with a radar key, that's not a problem because I can get in it with my key. But I couldn't see where the toilet was, and the waiting room was full of people. And I said to a lady, do you know where the disabled toilet was? And nobody in there seemed to know where the disabled toilet was. So at this point, I thought, well, I'll just go in the ordinary ladies' loo, but I didn't think I could get in with my trolley. So I asked the lady if she just watched my trolley while I went into the loo, and she did, and she was very nice. And when I got in there, so when you went in the outside door to the ladies' loo, all you could see was a bit of corridor, and then it disappeared round to the right. And I thought, well, the disabled toilet's not in here. It didn't say it was. But round to the right, then turn left, you've got the two ordinary cubicles. And then beyond that, in the furthest place, really accessible, was the disabled toilet. But it never said it on the door. So I will be writing to the station people at Reading saying, if you've got an accessible toilet, please tell people that it is an accessible toilet, and put a sign on the outside of the door that says there's an accessible toilet in here. Because if you don't know, you don't know. That sounds like Reading. It basically 2 stations in one. 3 with the Elizabeth line trains turning into Ronnie Corbett sketch. This is like Ronnie Corbett. I always think I'm like Ronnie Corbett. Anybody who doesn't know Ronnie Corbett, he used to sit and tell a story, but he would always go off at a million tangents, just like I do. So somebody's got to carry on the tradition now. He's not with us anymore. So anyway, so I did that, and then I finally I finally got on my train to my final destination. But when I got to my final destination, nobody was there to help me off the train. I don't know what happened to the passenger assist. Steve says he remembers Ronnie Corbett when TV was good. You don't need TV anymore. You've got me. Oh dear. You do need TV to balance it out a bit. Anyway, so yes. So when I got to my final destination, nobody was there to help me off the train, but of course there were some lovely passengers, and there was a chap who said, oh, do you need help? And I said, well, there should be somebody here to help me. I said, is there anybody in a high-vis jacket? He said no. And so I said, well, in that case, can you give me some help? So he helped me, and another passenger helped me lift my trolley down. I mean, if they put the ramp down, it's so easy, except I need to be steadied as I go down a ramp, because sometimes you've got the train I'm getting off, then you've got platform, and sometimes you've got a train track the other side of the platform. And if I come down the ramp too fast, I'm going to go across the platform and down onto the train tracks. And I don't wish to end my days flat on the train tracks. So I usually ask them to help steady me as I go down the ramp. And so the same happens on the hover and getting on and off the ferries. Where there's a slope, I need to be steadied. Otherwise, I'm going to go take off. Morecambe and Wise, Bruce Forsyth's generation game, Dick Emery. Steve is remembering all the good old comedies, you see, so you don't get them anymore, you just get me. And what I haven't got is a drink up here, and I haven't got a cup. Oh yes, I have. Excuse me, I'm just going to get my glass. Oops, oopsie. I'll be back in a minute. There we go, because I'm talking too much and I need to have a drink. There. Hello, Sam. Nice to see you coming in from Facebook. So you're coming in from Facebook, and you're with Jean and Janet and Joyce and Marianne. Excellent. I'll have to do Saturday nights then. The reason I don't do Saturday, because I was going to do Saturday, but the reason I haven't decided to do Saturday is because Strictly Comes Dancing's on, and I don't want to compete with Strictly. I like to sit and watch Strictly. And then, so we decided that I would do Sunday, but at 8:15, so that the Strictly results have come out before that. But of course, I thought I would already be at my destination. That's why I planned to do last night, and then it just didn't happen, did it? Never mind, you got me on a Monday night today instead. I didn't want to let you down and not give you the pleasure of some mad shenanigans stories this week, so I'm happy to do it here. But as I say, my daughter will be calling me in about 20 minutes because she's getting my tea ready. Love, more. Yay. Excellent. I still don't see many people coming in from Facebook. I don't think we've got it right on Facebook. Sam Sam's saying he was gutted for Tom and Nadia last night. That's right. Yes, so that's the Strictly results. I hope everybody's seen the replay. Eric Morecambe statue. Oh right, okay, thanks Richard. So that was a lot of telling you how I got from Ryde to my destination in Wiltshire. That was 42 minutes I've taken to tell you about the shenanigans of my journey yesterday. So anyway, I got here. I was really tired. And as soon as my head hit the pillow, I was asleep and having a really, really good sleep. Then I had to be awake this morning because my daughter had to do the school run with the girls, and her youngest walks to the local school here, but I have to be here to make sure he gets off right and make sure that, you know, the house is locked up, you know, the door's locked afterwards and all that. So that's why I needed to be here today, and you know, last night and not today, because I had to be here before 8 o'clock, from 8 o'clock this morning. So anyway, they all went off. My daughter's not been very well. Some of you will have seen my Facebook page. She's not very well at all. So she did the school run, and then she went to the doctor's this morning, and she has got some antibiotics because she's got a nasty chest infection. I'm not on the Facebook Go Live Granny. No, I know that, Kath, but am I on? And did anything appear on the Go Live Granny page? I don't know. That's where I meant to put it. Trouble is, when I was setting up the broadcast, I'm looking at tiny little icons like that, and you know, I have to click on which page it's going on to, and I think your share is showing as pending. Oh right, okay. Well, never mind. All the Facebook people, they will have to they'll have to watch the replay. Unfortunately, and you know, I wanted to be able to actually. Kath, can you tag Tina and anybody else, Tina Furnival, or if any of you can, who can get on Facebook, can tag the people that you know usually watch from Facebook. Maybe tag them, let them know where I am. I don't know. Sorry, there's comments coming. Steve says he's not surprised. I think that's, when I said I'd taken over 40 minutes to tell you about my journey, but at least it gives me content, doesn't it? So Brummies. Richard's had 3 attempts to put Brummies. Isn't it awful when your fingers don't type the right thing? So he put Brummies. Brummies are good. Then he changed Brummos to dummies, and then he got Brummies in the end. Oh, which reminds me, I was on the train last night when I got on. Must have been it must have been Winchester to Reading. That's right. It was Winchester to Reading. The travel assist person got me onto the train and made sure I got a seat. And there was I swear it was a Brummie, but he wasn't Brummie. He said his accent was Hampshire, but travel buddy Steve also thought he was a Brummie, so it wasn't just me. And so there was the Brummie. I think his name was Tom, and then there was Steve. Thank you, Kath. Oh, Kath's gone on to Facebook and tagged some of the people. That's brilliant. You know, what a great team I have. You know, because I can't do these things while I'm on here. If I was sitting in front of a computer as well, I would be able to do it, but I still get distracted. So it's great to have my team around me who help me out with all these wonderful things. Oh, I must tell you, before we go any further, I'm going to put a banner across the bottom because I haven't made sure that everybody has voted for the Isle of Wight in the up and coming. Here we go. Right. So there we go. Along the bottom it says, please vote for the Isle of Wight in the Wanderlust Reader Travel Awards. And if you go to https://wanderlusttravelawards.com, and when it gets to section 9, please vote for the Isle of Wight, because that would make it give us lots of votes. We want to be voted the most desirable island in Europe, and that would be brilliant for our tourism. And I need to get lots of people voting. And we've done all this sort of thing before with getting lots of votes, but I've been too busy having shenanigans and travels, and so I haven't done as much getting of votes as I usually can. Kath's really good there. She's just sharing with people that she knows usually watch the broadcast, so that's brilliant. Thank you, Kath. So where did I get to? I don't know. It was quite an interesting day yesterday. Anyway, when I went back last week, because I was at my daughter's from, when did I come last week? I've forgotten. What day did I do? I can't remember when. I did Friday, didn't I? I did Friday to Thursday last time. But I wanted to go home on Thursday. I wanted to be home for Slimming World, and I wanted to be home for a few bits and pieces at home. And I wasn't intending to come back. Then my daughter, her husband's away, and he shares some of the journeys, because they live in a remote village. He does some of the journeys. It's more difficult for her, but it's easier if I'm here. Even if I don't drive, it makes it easier for her. So I said I would come back, but I went home just for 2 or 3 days to get myself organised. But I'm going back, hopefully, on Thursday. And if I don't have travel shenanigans on Thursday, I will be back for Slimming World. Now, last time and the time before when I was at my daughter's, I lost 6 pounds each week I was here at my daughter's. So I don't know if we're going for a third time lucky and another 6 pounds come off. Unfortunately, the first time I lost 6 pounds, the following week I put £1.50 back on, and then I put £4 back on. But then I was at my daughter's again, and I took £6 off, which was more than the 4 and the 1.5. So I'm more than I was, lighter than I was before. And if I take £6 off this week, wow. I don't know what it is, the magic about being here, because I do very similar stuff at home, but maybe I don't know. Anyway, it's okay. So I'm getting hot. I'm going to take off my gilet because I don't need this on at the moment. Oh. There we go, because I'm getting too warm. Kath's tagging away there. Lots of people she's tagging, so let's hope some of them join us. They'll probably join us right at the end of the broadcast. I've been 49 minutes, haven't I? So I've got about another 10 minutes before my daughter calls me. So anyway, as I say, my daughter was very poorly, and she's got this very nasty chest infection. So she didn't, she didn't go to work today. She's on antibiotics, and she needs to get well. She's got a really hacking cough as well. So we decided to have our own knit and natter group this morning. Now, I've been a knitter since I was little. I have tried to teach her to knit in the past, and she didn't get on with it. And then a few years ago, when I was making smoothie hats for the Age UK, Sam's friend Marion says, good night, Marion. So Age UK do the big knit, it's called, and they get people all around the country to make little smoothie hats. So this is a smoothie hat. It's not quite finished. I'm plaiting this bit, and that will go on a smoothie bottle. on the top of a smoothie bottle. So we make these hats. We give them to Age UK, or to the different Age UKs around the country, and then when the campaign starts, they put them on the bottles and sell the bottles normally for an extra 25p. They've decided this year to put it up to 30p, and so all those 30p's go into the Age UK coffers to do great things for people of my generation, that sort of thing. So I oh, there'll be loads of these coming up, Steve. We did in previous years. My community, when COVID hit, that's right. My community were brilliant at doing loads of knitting, and they knitted hundreds of these. Well, it went into the thousands, I think, and they sent them to me, and I gave them to Age UK Isle of Wight. So there'll be all different designs. This is just a very simple design, just a sort of little hat. But some of them you'll see dinosaurs. You'll see what else I did ice cream hats. And there are patterns out there for all of these. I made some that were like crayons and post boxes and cats and rabbits and you name it. We make these little hats, all sorts of things like that. And then I used to do them all very plain like this because I can knit lots of these much quicker than I can knit all the fancy ones. And I was thinking, well, if they're only getting 25p for them, if I can do 4 in the time it takes me to do one fancy one, then they would get 4 lots of 25p, which is £1, rather than 1 25p. So I used to do it like that. But once COVID hit and I was doing lots of broadcasts, I found that actually it was better to do the fancy ones because it made better content for my audience because they like to see all the different things. And so, so I shifted and I'd like to do some of the fancy ones. But this is great for using up all my little bits and pieces of wool. So all the short bits. So if I've got lots of short bits, you'll find lots of stripy ones because all the little pieces of wool get joined together to make those hats. So I thought I'd just start with one simple one. We've been waiting for them to announce the Big Knit 2025. We've been waiting for a long time, and they announced it this last week, I think, that it was going to go ahead. And so I thought, well, I better start. So I've started. There we are. I've started with one. By the time we finish as a group, we will have a lot, maybe thousands. So that was that. But those of you who've been watching a bit more recently, you will know that my daughter's children, 2 of them, have got to do some fundraising for they're going on a trip and they've got to raise funds to do the trip. Lots of kids do that, don't they? And thank you, Steve, for all your lovely comments. And so my daughter decided that would be a good idea if Granny made some covers to go over the chocolate oranges, and then the children could sell those. And we're going to do some other craft things that they can set up stalls and sell between now and next summer. And so I have started. And this one isn't quite finished. This is the one I was doing the other day. If some of you saw me knitting a melted snow, can you see it? It's a snowman. He hasn't got his nose on yet. I've got to just make his carrot nose. I started it, so I've got to finish it off. But your friend Jean got cramp in her leg. Oh, sorry about that, Sam. So this is a snowman, and as you can see, there's a chocolate orange in there. Okay. Look, so I rather fancied that one. I thought that was fun, knitting some melted snow. That's the first time I've ever knitted melted snow. And then I made, this one hasn't got a chocolate orange in yet. We managed to locate chocolate oranges. Well, I bought 3 to go in these, and I paid £1.50, and I thought that was the best. It is imaginative, isn't it? It's not an original, Steve. It's a pattern I found. So I can take the credit for knitting it, but I can't take the credit for designing it. So we found the chocolate oranges. No, I found them at £1.50. My daughter says she's seen some of them at £3, but if you make it £3 and then you've got to charge for a cover to go on top, people are not going to buy them. So we want the cheapest chocolate oranges possible. And so I bought 3 at £1.50, and I thought that was the best. And then my daughter did some research, and she found she found them at Tesco's. If you use your club card, they're coming out at 95p or 99p. So we're going to go and get some, so that we've got the chocolate oranges to go inside the hats. So that will have a chocolate orange. And I put a bell on this one. And if I know Yvonne's not on here watching at the moment, but if she was watching, her cats would be going ballistic, because whenever I do anything with bells on, the cats go ballistic when they hear the bells ringing. Sam's going to be looking after Jean and Janet at church tomorrow. Excellent, Sam. That's good. So what have you got going on at church tomorrow? Because it's not Sunday, so there must be other activities going on at your church, as there are in most churches. So this one is one I did today. I just thought I'd just do a simple one. This is going to have a bubble on it. So we've got the bubble. My daughter's going to make the bubbles. She loves making the bubbles. But I was, bless them. Yeah, absolutely, Steve. The cat's going ballistic. So my daughter likes making the bubbles, so she'll make the bubble for this. But as I say, I taught her to knit, and she did do a little bit. And then when we first started the big knit a few years, doing the big knit a few years ago, I was away with her on a caravan holiday. And I remember she said, "Oh, come on, Mum, I'll have another go." So she started knitting some smoothie hats, and she was so excited that she learned how to do it. Hadn't done it much in between, but today she said, "Oh, Mum, I'm going to have a go at smoothie hat." And she did. And I put a picture up. That's what she was doing in the picture when I put up a picture of us having our own private knit and natter group. And she was making a smoothie hat. And now she's going on to her next smoothie hat. You're going on a day trip tomorrow. Oh, that's good, Sam. Have a lovely time. Then when I was looking through my bags of wool, I found this was a hat I'd made. Here's a hat I made earlier, like about 2 or 3 years earlier. And I found it in my stash. So I thought, right, we'll pop that in and take that. And it did fit the chocolate oranges, because I didn't know why I'd made it, but it must have been for a chocolate orange before, but it got put in another bag. So that's that one. And then this one's rather fun. So, except that I think I meant to make his hat match this bit. So I meant to do green and white, and I've done green and red. It doesn't matter. Or I can take that one off and put it and make one to match that. And then I can make a green and white one to do this. But I didn't put a bell on that one. I put a bubble. But actually, I think I'll put a bell on. I rather like them with the bells on. And you see, he's got a chocolate orange in him. And then this one. This one's going to have a white bubble on the top. So that's going to be like a Santa one. And I've got lots more patterns to do, lots more. But I then had more shenanigans. So I didn't get on with my knitting because I had all these issues. Hello, Tina, you're here at last. Tina, I have to apologise. We had such a struggle, and I didn't put it on the right page. To tell you I was going live. So I've been asking the audience to share it with all of you. So I'll stay on and go a little bit live. My daughter's actually cooking my tea, so I'm going to get called very soon, but I'll just do a little bit more broadcasting now. Steve saying one of his elderly customers does knitting. She made me a couple of woolly blankets for the winter last year. So cozy. Absolutely. There are a lot of us retirees who love to knit, and I've got so much wool. I could be knitting. Well, if God blesses me with at least another 20 years, I mean, I'm 74 now, but I still probably wouldn't finish all my wool. So I should keep knitting until such time as I can't. I did the other day get a little pain down there, my thumb, but it's gone away again, fortunately. It feels like it could be the onset of arthritis, but hello, Joy, nice to see you. It is very therapeutic, Steve. Oh, there's Andrea as well. Lots of you coming in now. That is because my lovely team who were watching from YouTube, when I realised we weren't live on the Go Live Granny page because I set it up wrong, they've all been sharing it. And Kath shared it with a lot of you, so you've all seen that I'm live now, so that's brilliant. So we'll stay live a bit longer if my daughter doesn't mind. She can keep my tea warm for me when she gives me the shout. So I'm thinking you have this in what? In N? I don't know what that means, Shane, sorry. Yes, a pain came down my thumb, and it could be the onset of arthritis. I'm very lucky to have got to 74 without arthritis. And I'm not giving into it at the moment. If it happens, I would just have to do other things. But I would be a bit sad if I couldn't do my knitting, and I'm going to knit for as long as I can. If I can't knit, I could crochet. Crochet's a different action, so it wouldn't make the pain in the same place. I don't know. Anyway, I'm not giving into it certainly now. And of course, I've got all my paper crafting if I can't do the knitting and that. But I shall keep myself occupied, or I should find other crafts to do. You know, there's all sorts of different things I could do if I couldn't do my knitting. Have this in your fingers. Oh, in your fingers, very, very painful. Now, Steve, now this is window cleaning Steve. Is turmeric will help that, Lynn, with black pepper and heated with food or a milk drink. It seems to have helped my arthritis in my finger. Thank you, Steve. Thank you for the top tip. I learned so much on here. I learned that if I booked my train tickets all the way through on an app like TrainPal or something like that, that I could get much cheaper travel. I learned that from people in my community. I learned that if I was delayed more than an hour, I would get a refund. I learned that from my community. Now I'm earning top tips about arthritis, but watch it. It doesn't interact with any meds. Thank you, Steve. I will check that out and see, because, you know, it's so useful. You get yours from Golden Green online. Okay, that's thank you very much for that. So that I will check that out. But at the moment, I'm still very lucky. Look, my fingers still work very well. And while they do, I shall do lots of knitting. And you know what? You know, obviously, I'm now classed in the disabled group. And so there are things I can do and things I can't do. And sometimes I do some things and then I have to sit down and rest a lot. And so I pick up my knitting and I just love it. If I don't knit for a day or so, it's like my fingers are you know, sort of they're, what do you call it? Got what is it when you withdrawal symptoms? That's it. I couldn't remember what the word was. And so, but when I after I nearly died of pneumonia, I didn't knit for a long time. I lost my knitting mojo. And then earlier this year it came back, and I was so pleased it came back because I absolutely love it. I find it so therapeutic. When I'm watching something like Strictly or whatever, and I want to look at the TV a lot, I do very basic knitting. You know, I don't try to do anything too fancy, just more straight stuff. Otherwise, I go wrong. But other times I can do the fancy bits. So Steve is suggesting that that Shane takes his recommendation a couple of months. It takes a couple of months to work. So there we are, Shane. Maybe that will help you as well. But you know, this group here is a mine of, you know, we have a mine of useful information. My dad always said that we were mines of you know, useful information, in the useful, not really useful, but actually all these things are useful. So that was good. Check if you're taking other meds though, that it won't react. Okay, that will be fine. I will do that. I've been invited to go for my my flu jab and my COVID jab. So those are things that I probably need to organise. So that's on the medical side. What else? What else has been going on? Oh, so much, I don't know. But before I came away on Sunday, I did some tidying up. I am not a tidy person. When you are a crafter, it's very, very difficult to be a tidy person. I don't know other crafters. I don't know any tidy crafters. And so it just gets in a mess. And on Sunday, I decided I wanted to do some tidying before I came away. I wasn't leaving home until 4 o'clock. So I had all the morning, and I'd gone to sleep very early on Saturday night. I fell asleep in the chair for hours and hours and hours. So I'd had a really good long sleep. So I was up in the Wide Awake Club at silly o'clock in the morning. So I had a very long day before I went traveling. And I did lots of bits, but I as I say, I do some bits and then I have to sit down, and then I do some more and then I have to sit down. I did a lot of knitting. I did a lot of sitting down. So you know, that's how it is. But I know that that's how it has to be. But I could do some tidying up sitting down. I've got some new drawers to put some of my craft stuff away in. I could actually sit down and do that. That makes life easy for me. And Steve's saying you can get it in tablet form at Holland and Barrett. So that's good as well. So, yes, so this week, busy week here at my daughter's, helping out here. Then I need to be home for Slimming World on Thursday. So hopefully the train won't be late on Thursday or I shall miss my Slimming World. On Friday, I'm not going to do the I go to Isle Access to do crafting with that group, but I'm taking Friday off from them because I've got a coffee morning to try and get the time bank going. So on the island, they have a time bank over in the West White, and they've got a time bank just started. The time bank in West White's been going for a long time. The time bank in Ryde is new, and they're trying to get it off the ground. And basically, a time bank is where you put your skills in, and you take other people's skills out. So, for example, I can offer the time bank, 3 hours of knitting or 2 hours of teaching social media or any of the skills that I do. I can put the skills in, and then I can say, well, I want to look at somebody in the time bank and see if somebody could give me an hour to paint a door or something like that. So it's exchanging your skills. But I wouldn't necessarily exchange skills with the person who's going to paint my door. Somebody will paint my door, but they might not want what I've got to offer, but they would take what somebody else has got to offer. So it's like we put our things into the bank and then we look in the bank to see what we'd like to take out. But it's a bit slow getting off the ground. So they're having a coffee morning on Friday to try and get it going. So I'm going to go along and see if I can do that. And then the following Friday, I've been invited. So I miss again. I'll miss going again to the to Isle Access because I have been invited to something to do with accessibility on the island and the hover. I think it's something to do with the hover travel people. And actually, what was quite good, that's right, I was telling Jan, who's the CEO of Isle Access, well, she knew about the great experience I had last week when I went on the hover and then I went onto the train at Portsmouth and Southsea. And you go on the hover, then you go onto the hover bus, which is right outside the hover terminal. And the bus goes round to the station. And then there's a little walk from the hover bus stop to the station. And normally I don't get a travel assist on that bit. But last time somebody was there to meet me at that point. And I was so gobsmacked. I was so pleased because he helped me off the bus and helped me round to the station. And I put it on my social media and Jan saw it and she reported it back to the hover boss. Well, he's been trying to get that link to happen, for anybody with accessibility needs to be able to be escorted from the hover bus to the platforms in the station. And she saw that I put it on my social media, so she told him. So he was really pleased. And there's some sort of meeting, that next week about that. So I've been invited to go to that meeting. So that's really good, and it's all about making life easier for people with accessible needs. But actually, lots of people need help. Travel buddy Steve, told me when he saw me getting on the having a ramp put down and coming up the ramp, he said he wished he'd waited. He got on the train with a suitcase and he had to lift his suitcase and stuff up onto the train. And I said, well, if ever you see somebody with a ramp in their hand, wait, because they're helping somebody with travel accessibility needs, but I'm sure that they would let you push your suitcase on wheels up the ramp as well. So Travel Steve and I, we had a great conversation between Winchester and Reading. And then, I was telling him the story of how I became the Go Live Granny. And so, but when I got off just as I was getting off the train, we exchanged phone numbers so that he could message me. And then he looked me up. By the time I'd got on my next train, I think he'd already Googled me and looked me up and found my profiles and requested to be friends on social media as well. So I'm making such a wonderful community again. You know, it shrunk obviously when I was ill and nobody was watching broadcast because I wasn't doing any broadcast, but it's all growing again now and it's just lovely. I revealed my stats on my Facebook page. I have had, you lovely people out there, I have had 2,000 interactions on my posts in the last 30 days. That's pretty good. And without you lot, that wouldn't happen. If none of you were commenting, it just wouldn't happen. But you know, it's about that two-way process, and that's how you grow an audience. That's why I get so cross with Visit Isle of Wight, who are supposed to market the island, but they don't do that interaction with the people who comment on their page. You know, they could grow their audience so much bigger if they did the interaction and answered it. I mean, when you put things on my page, I'm sure most of you like me to answer you, don't you? So I'm just going to answer some more. So Jill said she's got her flu jab a week on Saturday, not looking forward to it as it makes you poorly for a few days. Same with the COVID jab. I've been incredibly lucky, touch wood, on all my, I don't even worry about needles going in as long as I don't watch it. You know, I'll look at something else over there, and I'm very lucky that I have a very high pain tolerance level, you know, threshold. I found that out when I was pregnant with my first child, and my contractions were being monitored, and I was on the bed, and they were monitoring this contraction, and the thing was going right off the chart, and whoever was monitoring it said, you know, was very surprised that I wasn't reacting more violently than it was a bit painful, yes, but for me it wasn't hugely painful like it should have been, or like it should have been on the chart. And obviously I concluded that I had a very high pain threshold on that, so that was really good. I'm very pleased about that. So hopefully, Jill, it won't be too bad for you. So that's lots of us Steves appearing. We'll have to wear name badges. You certainly will. So we've got what did you call yourself, Steve? I've forgotten. So you're YouTube Steve. No, we can't call you YouTube Steve because there might be another Steve coming YouTube. What did you call yourself right at the beginning? I've forgotten. Oh dear. Let's scroll back to the beginning and see what you said. Oh dear. I'm terrible, aren't I? I don't remember these things. I don't know. Tell me, Steve, what you said. I can't see it now. Too many comments coming through. Oops, hang on. That's lovely. Window cleaner, Steve. That's right. Your window cleaner, Steve. With ladders. Oh, mustn't forget the ladders. It would be a bit difficult if you forgot the ladders because you wouldn't be able to reach, would you? So window cleaner, Steve. We've got travel assist Steve, and we've got travel buddy Steve, haven't we? So that's good. So I wonder, you know, who will. Oh, and then we had Emmanuel. Emmanuel was one of the lovely train assist people. I can't remember which platform he was on, but you know, I was watching them after I found out from one of the stations where the lady was trying to put the ramp down. Oh gosh, she met me off one of the trains, and I didn't have a very long. This was only about 10 minutes. That must have been at Winchester. And I got off the train, and where I got off the train, there was no cover at the top. So it was raining, of course. And so we got off in the rain, and then we walked up a bit. But this lady, she got the ramp. She let me down the ramp, and then she folded the ramp up, and she took off a great... I was about 70 miles an hour up the platform, and I'm sort of trying to run. I can't run. Of course, I can't run. Trying to keep up with her, but that wasn't very easy. So I thought, well, I've got 10 minutes. I'll just amble up here because that's all I can do. And Steve's one of the only traditional ones left with ladders. Oh, right, because some of them would have different gadgets, I suppose. So there we go. Don't fall off the ladder though, Steve. Be very careful. So anyway, this lady, she took off, and then she put the ramp back. She locked it into where it goes, And I said, oh, but I've got to get on the train. She said, oh, no, I've got to get a different ramp because different ramps fit different trains. So that's something new I learned yesterday. The ramps are not all the same. And wouldn't it be marvellous if they were all made the same and they all fitted the same fittings? But anyway, so she then got the other ramp out and then she took me right up the other end of the platform. And of course, by this time, we'd come out of, it was raining. It was raining in the bit where I needed to get on the train. Can she give me about 5 minutes? Is that all right? Thank you. I'll do 5 minutes.
I suppose so.
Yes, if you could keep it warm for about another 5 minutes and I'll be done. I've had my call for my dinner. I'll go down in just a minute. So anyway, so she was going to take me to the disabled space right near the front of the train, and the train was going to be in the wet bit, but then so she went up to go into the wet bit and then the train stopped short. It stopped under the dry bit, so we had to walk back a bit and get on the train. And then she had a job. The dinner gong, absolutely, Steve, the dinner gong has just gone. And so she put the ramp down, but she was having a real job to get it into the right, to fix it so that it was actually safe for me to go on. But she did manage it. Sam saying he and Jean and Janet and Joyce will be going to sleep soon. Okay, Sam, that's fine. I won't be going to sleep. I'm going to have my dinner and then I'll probably do a bit more knitting before I go to bed. So, and then catch you again soon. So, yes, so I learned that, the ramps are not all the same. And then, yeah, that was quite interesting. Lots of different things going on. And yes, so who knows what the rest of the week will hold. Watch my social medias. I'm all being well. I will live stream on Sunday at 8:15. But who knows? Who knows what will happen? Anything's possible in the life of Lynn, the Go Live Granny, as you know. But I'm very grateful to those of you who have come in, and I'm very grateful to those of you who've shared, especially Kath. Thank you so much, because you did manage to get one or two other people in there. That was fantastic. Next week I must be more careful of no. So I'm going to have to oh yes, there is a way. Tristan and I have worked out a way where I can go live without having a subscription, my own subscription to StreamYard, because I am not prepared to pay over £30 a month for the privilege of sharing out like this if I'm only doing a few broadcasts. That's not very economic. So but watch this space, because Tristan knows how to solve these issues for me. I just send him a message and say, Tristan, can you help me with this? And he rang me up, we had a chat, and so we will solve it. So next week, watch out for the notices, and I'll try and make sure that I've put the notices on the right pages, and I'm going live on the right pages next time. So Catherine saying enjoy my dinner. I certainly will. Steve saying it's lovely to chat. Thank you all for coming in. I very much appreciate those of you who have come in here. Don't forget, I want you to vote for the Isle of Wight in the Wanderlust Reader Travel Awards. So go to wanderlusttravelawards.com and vote, particularly for category 9, question 9. The Isle of Wight needs to be voted the most desirable island in Europe, which would do fantastic. It would be fantastic for our tourism opportunity. And since I'm not over keen on the marketing people who are doing not the best job in marketing, because they don't use YouTube for marketing the island. So sorry, I'm on my hobby horse again. I'll get off my hobby horse and go and eat my dinner. Thank you, Steve. I will enjoy my dinner. I don't know what I've got for dinner. Be a surprise to see. And then some days this week, I'm going to be cooking the dinner for my daughter. So night, everybody. Take care. And if you can vote. And if you can get other people to vote, that would be amazing. We've got till the 18th of October, and I really do need to get on and get more people voting, and stop doing other things. But if I stop doing the other things, then they won't get done either. Have a lovely week, all of you. Thank you, Steve. Night, everyone. Take care, and see you all again very soon. Bye.